Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the rise of the micro brands.
Lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm.
I was telling everybody on Friday that you can't miss this episode. It's going to be a great one. We're going to be talking to the founder of Moz, or co-founder of Moz, and a new startup called SparkToro. And we're going to be getting into that, just touching on what SparkToro is. It's a really cool app. I've just had a bit of time to play around with it, but wait till you guys see what we can do. But first of all, where's Kelsey?
Hello.
Well, hello. How are you?
Good. It's a little different starting at 2 today, but yeah.
It's a very special day, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I guess I should have my little hat that you guys.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I don't even have my hat. It's over there and nobody's got it for me and I can't leave where I'm sitting right now. So happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Geez,
And
21. You're
I
allowed to
know.
drink.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I don't know where it's going to happen, but I think we've got your brother here with something.
I think he is. Yeah. Just a second.
Where's Kelsey? Yeah. Or where's Hayden? So Hayden's going to join us for a quick second. That's Hayden, Kelsey's brother.
All right. Okay. I got my
and
cupcake
Mom,
too. Everything.
And a cupcake. Oh my God. How much greater can this get?
All right. Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead, Hayden.
Out of tune.
Thank you, guys.
Is he playing?
Can you hear it?
I can't hear nothing.
Oh, it might be too loud.
We can't hear it, so oh my gosh. Okay, Kelsey, well, in that case, you're going to have to sing happy birthday to yourself.
There was a keyboard being played right now, but I think I have a background music thing that changes it out.
And did you blow out the candle?
I sure did.
No.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the birthday wishes.
Oh, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out. Oh,
yeah,
man.
I've got that sound thing crisp. So I think
turn it off. Just click it and turn off background.
Yeah.
Then you could get it.
Maybe at the end of the podcast.
All right, let's give it there. So let's give this a whirl. Anyways, I can't wait to get into it. We're going to have another special little thing at the end of the podcast. And oh, by the way, everybody, we've got a special giveaway from Alan. Alan Muir. He's going to be giving away. Well, why don't you say it, Kels? It's your birthday.
All right. So our little sponsor, Brit Treats, they're going to be giving us a tub of quality street chocolate. It's 650 grams. And then there's another Easter 20 bar selection box as well. So they're giant boxes of chocolate.
It's not like a little box. So, these things are monstrous.
Yeah. So to enter that, just put hashtag Brit Treats, and you do have to be in the US or Canada for the prize today. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So hashtag Brit Treats to get entered into the chocolate giveaway today. And thank you, everyone, for the birthday wishes. Wow. This is amazing.
And we got to get Hayden or figure out your mic. And we'll get that. You know, we worked on it all night to get this song out to you. But all right, everybody. So on this special episode, if you have any questions, throw them over in the comment box. We'll make sure we get back to them or try to answer them on the show. But for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast. There's the man. How are you, sir?
Very well. Thanks for having me, Norm.
I've been looking forward to this. When Kelsey said that he got you booked onto the podcast, I couldn't believe it, first of all, because I'm a huge fan of Moz. But being able to sit here and, be able to talk to you about SEO, I mean, that just doesn't happen. So this is really cool.
Well, I also would love to wish Kelsey a very happy birthday. And I don't have a song prepared, but I might be able to run in and grab my ukulele and play a little something at the end.
Yeah, well, we've created an out of tune birthday song for Kelsey, so feel free to join in at the end.
Oh yeah, I can sing terribly.
Yeah, me too. So we're in the same club. There we go. So why don't let's start by just letting everybody know who you are and what you do.
Sure. Yeah. So you mentioned I started a company called Moz back in 2003 with my mom. It was originally a blog, and then it became a consulting company, and finally a software business that I ran for many years as CEO, grew to $30-40 million in revenue. And then I stepped down as the CEO in 2014 and left the company a few years ago. Started this new one the next day. It's called SparkToro. SparkToro is not in the SEO space, so it's been a few years since I've been in SEO formally, although I obviously still pay attention to that world a little bit. And SparkToro is in market research and audience intelligence, so being able to immediately find the sources that your audience pays attention to online. What do they read? What do they watch? What do they listen to? What do they follow, engage with? How do they describe themselves? All sorts of characteristics and attributes of an online audience. And at the same time I left Moz, I also published a book called Lost and Founder, which, a lot of folks have read in the sort of tech startup and marketing worlds. And that's been sort of my professional career. And then, personally, I'm married to a wonderful partner, the author Geraldine de Ruyter, and live in Seattle, Washington. So out on the West Coast. I appreciate you sliding your time zones for me a little bit today.
Hey, no problem at all. I used to live in Hawaii. So if anybody asked about a 9 o'clock slot on the East Coast, that was crazy.
You're like, that's 3 a.m.
Yeah, it's crazy. 6 hours difference. Well, I did have a chance. Like I know Moz. I think anybody in the SEO game knows Moz. However, I didn't know this other app. So I whipped over and I took a look at it. I'm in the influencer and brand builder game. We have our own apps that we have in that side of things. And, they're targeted towards Amazon sellers or Ecom sellers. And I'm sitting here going, did you just create like almost instant personas? Like I can go over and see exactly who my demographic is just like that in seconds. Hey, is that what this is?
In a way, yeah. So Norm, basically behind the scenes, what happens is SparkToro, it's relatively simple in terms of how it works. We crawl tens of millions of social and web profiles and connect them up. So we'll be like, oh, Norm, here's your Twitter account. And from that, we found your about page on your website, and that linked to your LinkedIn page and your Facebook page and your Reddit account, your YouTube account. We sort of connect up all these different social profiles across 10 different networks right now, and then aggregate them into a single profile, right? So those profiles are what you can search across, and then you can sort of get aggregated data. So if you were to say, I want to search for podcast hosts in Canada, right? Okay, well, we have, 790 podcast hosts, people who in their profile describe themselves as a podcast host and say they're located in Canada. And then we can tell you, here are hashtags that they used in their posts and social updates and their bio and all that kind of stuff. Here are podcasts that they engaged with. Here are accounts that they follow on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, whatever social accounts there might be out there. These are websites that they engage with and share content from. These are YouTube channels that they engage with. All that type of data sort of at your fingertips in a snap in just a few seconds. So it's not quite a persona in the classic sense of, a lot of personas, which you might have read my piece where I complained bitterly about personas last week. A lot of them contain information that I don't find necessarily particularly relevant to product or marketing use cases, but you will find a lot of data that can be very useful in marketing campaigns or designing product strategy or doing market research or building a hypothesis about a market, or going in optimizing your Facebook and Google Display Network ads and figuring out where to run targeted advertising or figuring out which podcasts to sponsor and pitch and all that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, influencer stuff we touch on a little bit. Market research we do a lot of. We help a lot of agencies and consultants, as well as in-house marketers, sort of do better targeted marketing of all kinds.
So what we'll do at the end of the podcast, or even Kelsey, if you can throw that up, just the link to it. Guys, you've got to take a look at this app. As you know, I don't take affiliates at all, but I was looking at it, and I really think it is something for anybody that's online, anybody who needs to build an audience. If you're an Amazon seller and you're trying to build a brand, find those pet owners, find those large dog owners, those schnauzer owners, and it'll be so much easier for you. And there's a tool that I didn't know existed, so I'm kind of excited about that. The other thing, the main reason I thought we would talk today is most of the people listening to this podcast are either on Amazon selling private label brands, or they're online. They're either in a Shopify store or WooCommerce. What can we do now to help organically do some SEO? What can we do as an individual? And then we'll talk about what should we be looking at agency-wise.
Yeah, so one of the reasons, Norm, that I became so passionate about sort of market research and audience intelligence and these other forms of marketing beyond SEO is that I kept observing a trend in the SEO world that made me question a little bit of the sanity of focusing on what I'd call like unbranded keywords, right? I want to rank for, pet food. I want to rank for, pet leashes. I want to rank for computer supplies, whatever it is. My observation was time and time again, when you looked at the distribution of search volume, what you would see is the brand names in a space, in any given space, were getting 10, 100, 1,000 times more search volume than all of the non-branded keywords combined. So essentially, a good example of this might be in children's toys, right? So you look at searches like, construction toys, toys for young kids, toys for 5-year-olds, toys for 10-year-olds, toys for girls, toys for boys, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Every search you could possibly imagine in that category. And then you compared it to a search for Lego. And what do you know? Lego is 1,000 times bigger than all these other keywords combined. And that made me reflect on this idea that SEO is the best or the only way to build a brand. I think SEO is a great way to, when you are starting out, continue, leveraging the content that you're creating, earn some traffic from it, probably earn some business and some conversions. But to be frank, if you want to build something that can stand out from the crowd, something that is protected from, Google changing their ranking systems, that's protected from Facebook, dropping your page's reach, from Instagram eliminating your ability to reach people organically and having to pay for every click and every visit and compete against everybody else who's paying for those clicks and visits. If you want to try and win against all of these big tech monopolies who are incentivized to either take traffic from you or to force you to pay them in order to receive traffic, the way to fight that is to build a brand people seek out. It's really difficult for Google to take traffic away from Lego when people have searched for Lego. And even if they do, Lego probably still benefits from that, because that search, no matter where it lands, almost always is going to result in them being exposed to Lego's product. So if you are building a private labeled product on Amazon or Shopify or WooCommerce, the best advice I have for you is don't try and compete in generics. Build a brand that people will seek out specifically. And there are lots of ways to do that, and SEO can absolutely help, but I think that has to be your strategy. Because frankly, on Amazon, especially on Amazon, my God, we saw in the Wall Street Journal a couple of weeks ago, right? They are literally have algorithms that look for high performing products, and then Amazon creates their own cheap version of the same thing and promotes that above yours. They're stealing your ish. Like, don't let them, right? Build a brand that people seek out.
Right. I mean, sorry about that. I'm not used to having the microphone here. It's usually here. So I'll probably whack it a few times. But what about building your brand? So you're not just saying build your brand outside of Amazon, but building a brand, establishing a brand on Amazon while you have your Ecom store building the brand. If I understand you correctly, it's just that, forget the browsing keywords or forget the generic brand keywords. Go out, make sure that you're targeting those brand keywords. So XYZ soap, or instead of just natural soap. Is that correct? And while you're doing it on Amazon?
I mean, tactically speaking, I think there's a lot of options here, right? Mm-hmm. I'm kind of going one level up from that and saying strategically, the best thing you can possibly do is build a brand that people seek out rather than trying to compete in the unbranded keywords. So if soap is your field, right, I would say, what differentiates us? What makes us unique from all other soap? Who are we for? Who's the right target customer? And how do we tell those customers that we're the right soap for them? Is it, oh, you have whatever, dry skin and you live in northern climates and you are getting, you're having issues X, Y, and Z with your skin. We are the perfect product for exactly you. And so we're going to target that and we're going to build a unique brand around it. And perhaps we're going to have unique identifiers. It is, the soap is organic and environmentally friendly. The soap is unscented, so it doesn't bother people who have sensitivities. The soap is, right? These are sort of features and benefits that speak to a particular audience. And then you're building the brand around that. And the brand itself is what you want to concentrate a significant portion of your effort on. So rather than saying, oh yeah, I need to find which keywords people are searching for and rank for all of those, I think that's secondary. To me, that is hey, let's go look for what those keywords are. And on the pages that sell our products that are relevant, we'll employ those keywords because we might get some benefit from them. And over time, as the brand grows, our SEO traffic benefits as well, because we are getting organic referrals, both from our brand and because people prefer us in the search results. So the tactics flow from the strategy.
Getting that traffic. So you've got your website or you've got your Amazon site. Building content. Is that still an effective way to get Google interested or get that
Sure.
Get it indexed?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that SEO doesn't work anymore or that it's not still valuable. Search traffic is still the largest portion of referral traffic on the web. I think last time I looked at the data from JumpShot, which was 2019, search traffic was still 10x the volume of all social referral traffic together. So you combine all the traffic that Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Reddit and Pinterest and all the rest of them send out to websites against Google. Google is 10 times larger. So Google's sending a tremendous amount of traffic. The problem is when you look inside of Google in any given category, it's 10x Lego and 1x children's toys, right? So my suggestion is that you focus on building those brands. And I think content is a way to back that up. Content is a way to get some value from it. But personally, like one of the biggest things that I invest in is finding the sources of influence for my audience. So my audience tends to be market researchers and brand builders and consultants and agencies. And I find podcasts that they listen to and YouTube channels that they watch and email newsletters that they subscribe to, conferences and events that they go to, webinars they attend, websites that they visit, social accounts that they follow. And then I try to be present in those places, right? I try and make sure that the folks who reach them talk about SparkToro. They're aware of it. When someone mentions, hey, I'm trying to, whatever, build a great marketing persona. Someone in the room, I want someone in that room to say, hey, we should try SparkToro, right? And I think you want that same thing going on. Like, hey, I need to buy a toy for my nephew's birthday. You want someone in the room to think, I bet he likes Lego, right? It's that same memory nudge that you are trying to achieve. And brand building through essentially digital PR is one of the primary ways that that I encourage folks to do that, because I think that's very effective. And content and SEO can be a great addition to that flywheel, that marketing flywheel you're building too.
Yeah, one of the things that we try to do is we'll put out a press release about a newsworthy item, and then have that press release linked over to a blog article talking about the 5 main reasons why, whatever it is, and then also have a video in it, and really try to put as much content into it as possible. For people that are trying to action step 1 or 2, what is the easiest way to get started? You just mentioned, you just whipped off the top of your head about 5 or 6 different things. What can we do as either an Amazon or an Ecom seller? What is the first 1 or 2 things that we can do to get the ball started?
Yeah, so I love the idea of using 2 things. One is you should have a great idea of who your customer and your target audience are, right? So in the pet world, it might be, right, they own big dogs, or maybe they are folks who love to go hiking and camping, and so they're outdoors folks, and they're in a particular region. Maybe they're in the Western United States or Western Canada, and so you've got a very particular target. Now go survey and interview some of them, right? Just ask them, hey, tell me a little bit about your media consumption habits and who you follow and watch in this space and what you pay attention to and where you get your information. What websites do you go to when you're trying to figure out your next hike? Who do you pay attention to who tells you about, information for your dog? Oh yeah, well, it turns out I do this or that. As an example, this is a silly one, but I personally got sort of obsessed with cooking Japanese food while I was in quarantine lockdown, which we still are here in Seattle. And so I found this website, justonecookbook.com. It ranks moderately well sometimes in recipe results. Now because I click it all the time, it ranks really well for me in my personalized results, which is also a benefit. But so I've been going to this Just One Cookbook website and, learning how to make great Japanese dishes. I cooked a lot of oyakadon and katsu, and I love it. It's great. It's really fun. But the reality is that if you go and look at all the people who are online talking about whatever Japanese food and cooking Japanese recipes, the list of places where they get their information is long. And that's not particularly surprising. That's great. That's fine. Those places, in my opinion, are where you want to be with your brand, right? So if I am selling a Japanese donabe, which is like a traditional clay rice cooker, they cost like $200. I did end up buying one, and it's fun. They're great to cook with. They're really unique. It's super different from, I don't know, at least a lot of the Western cooking dishes that I use, but makes great rice in particular, and a whole bunch of other dishes. And this, if you are selling those donabes, you want to be in all the places. You want to be talked about by the chefs and the recipe sharers and the bloggers and the writers and the journalists and the YouTube, cooking folks and the people who put together animated GIFs on Reddit and on Imgur and all these places for, 30-second cooking videos or whatever it is. You want to be present in all those places. That is my top tip. That's my top recommendation. Go figure out who your audience is. Find what they pay attention to, be in those places. I think it's hard to beat that strategy.
No, that's great advice. So start with your top guys and then sort of work yourself down, right? You don't have to go after everybody at one time.
Yeah, if you have a pre-existing relationship with someone, so you find some, let's say someone hosts a YouTube channel that reaches a good percentage of your audience, or a bunch of people have mentioned this radio program, or they've talked about a blog that they read, or maybe there's a section of a traditional newspaper that's online that they're all paying attention, whatever it is. And you go to LinkedIn and you see that, oh yeah, I'm connected to Norm and Norm's connected to that person. Hey, Norm, can you make me an intro? Like a personal intro that says, oh, hey, we had Rand on our show. He's a really nice guy. His fashion's a little strange, but you should talk to him. And that sort of connection means that you have a lot of opportunity to build up, rapport, brand memory, a positive association, and get a pitch that's much more likely to be accepted than, hey, so-and-so at the Globe and Mail, like, please write about my startup. Meh, that's not going to work particularly well. But if you connect me with someone over there and say, hey, I know you've been writing some pieces about Amazon's practices around stealing from their e-commerce folks. You should have a conversation with Rand because he has some really interesting thoughts on that. And he's got some cool data about other ways to go. Oh, now we're talking, right? Like that intro is likely to result in a conversation, which is likely to result in, the journalist at the Globe and Mail sort of picking us up, talking about us, whatever.
So it sounds like a lot of what you're talking about is all influencer based. Like you're building relationships, you're getting people to get involved, engage, right? And then you can leverage these relationships through their network.
Yeah, I mean, so Norm, I have this weird thing. I don't know if you've observed this, but when I say you should do more influencer marketing, there's a whole bunch of people in whatever, the marketing world, the business world, who think that means go find half-naked people on Instagram and pay them $500 to pose with your product. And they can't break out of that mindset. And so I've had to find other ways to say influencer marketing because the branding for that practice has become so associated with that one, frankly, silly and not applicable to everyone tactic.
Right.
So yeah, I tend to call it, it's digital PR, it's outreach, it is sources of influence. But I agree with you. 7 years ago, if we were having this conversation and we said influencer marketing, everyone would know that it meant all those things. It's just weird that today it's like, oh yeah, let me find someone who poses in their, underwear on beaches and blah, blah, blah. I obviously don't have the physical fitness to be doing that. So. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if you are one of those Instagram models, but
yeah, of course, yeah.
You can kind of tell, from talking to someone.
Yeah, it's the beard, right?
It's the beard. It really, the beard makes the man.
Oh, there we go. Now, what about where does social media come in with today's, with today's marketing?
Yeah. I mean, I like, just like we talked about content and SEO, I like these kind of other pillars of marketing all supporting the brand that you're building, right? So online, I think that's your website and your email list. Like those sit at the center of everything you do. And all these other channels, SEO and content marketing and digital PR and, whatever, advertising and your Amazon store, all of these things support your website and your email list. And social is no different. So essentially on social, you're trying to kind of build up an audience that cares about what you do, that cares about what you talk about. You might be doing a lot of content marketing on social. There's a lot of similarities between, social sharing, which for a lot of brands is just micro content marketing. It's small posts that are whatever, visual and engaging and emotionally resonant and attract people to your brand and your social voice. And then you're using that over time to drive people back to you, like, oh gosh, I really love when that Rand guy talks about, whatever marketing issues he's talking about on Twitter or LinkedIn or I don't do as much Facebook. I do a little bit of Instagram with my stuff. Whenever he talks about that stuff, I really like it. Let me go click his profile. Oh, what's this SparkToro site that he's doing? And then every few posts on all these networks, I am more, I don't know what to call it, more blatantly sharing my my actual business, right? So I might have 5, 10, 15, even 20 posts that have nothing to do with what SparkToro does in particular. And then 1 or 2 that mention the brand, have a link to the website. And the idea is that I'm kind of building up engagement and algorithmic reputation with the network so that they show my posts to more people and they're more engaging and more people follow my account. And then every few posts, I am drawing that traffic back to my website and my email list. And I think that's the way I would play the social game today for most e-commerce brands, right? I would be sharing things that are going to be likely to earn you high engagement. You can, if you want, play the controversy game, right? Social is very, very resonant with controversial issues. You can see, everyone from like Patagonia to Penzeys Spices to whatchamacallit, REI does this on occasion. The O'Reilly Media does this in the business book space, right? Where they're essentially using some combination of their own business overlapping into social or even political issues, and then using that engagement to drive people to their brand to signify who they are and what they stand for. And then if you love what they stand for, you're going to follow them and pay attention. And now they're going to draw people back to your website. And that, I think that can be an effective strategy too. You have to decide whether you're willing to play that game or if you want to do others. But social can be one of these pillars, right? Just like content and SEO.
Right. I've heard the term lately. I don't know if it's been around forever, but give to get. Give a lot of value,
yeah.
Get a bit back. And
and I think social is a great place to do that.
Yeah. And I heard that a lot with Clubhouse. So all these people going, now Clubhouse is the buzzword of the day, of course.
Right.
But man, oh man, there's a lot of people that give, but there's a whole bunch of, one of the things I'm finding when I go onto that network now is I have to sit through a whole bunch of ego.
This is what I've heard, that that Clubhouse has attracted a very particular crowd as its early adopters, and it is it's like being in the popular kids locker room in high school, which that was not my favorite place to hang out. So I think I'm going to stick to the other pathways. I'm also suspicious of Clubhouse's long-term appeal. I think it might be a short-term, popular network that goes away or gets acquired, or Facebook and Twitter replicate its functionality, and then one of those is more successful with the format. That wouldn't surprise me either.
I'm watching it a lot. We're trying to get on there. We have a club, but it's interesting to see where it's going to go, because you spend a lot of time. You can spend, I know people that spend 8 hours a day on Clubhouse, and wow, I got 8,000 followers. I got 50,000 followers, but I don't know where that's going to go. And who knows? There's a lot of people risking a lot of time and money being in those rooms. So, but anyways, it does allow, the advantage is it does allow engagement. It does allow somebody to come up, ask a question, and get that answer right away, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
We can do that similar here, but people might make a comment, but actually having somebody come on and talk, if you're live, you might have that. But anyway,
it does encourage. I don't know. Obviously, when we were all allowed to go to events, right? I'd go to conferences and events and do a lot of speaking, and I did a book tour for Lost and Founder, and there's something among sort of authors and speakers where they say, oh, every room that you're in has someone whose name is that guy. And that guy will always, be one of the first people to put up his hand. It's almost always a man, put up his hand and ask a question, right? And at whatever kind of event, and say, yeah, this is really a little bit more of a comment than a question. I run business XYZ, and before that, I did all these other things, and I have this opinion that I need to express and get off my chest. And yeah, that's really what I'm thinking about these days.
Do you know that guy too?
I know that guy. That guy has been in almost every room I've ever talked in.
That was just me.
And my sense is a little bit that Clubhouse is like, hey, are you that guy? We got a network for you.
Who knows? But before I forget,
yeah,
Kelsey, where are you?
Yes.
Look at that hat. That's perfect.
Oh, man, beautiful.
It's cute, right?
Now, I wanted to just remind people, because I know that with all the excitement, you forgot to do your job earlier. But, like them smashes, you want to do that?
That's right. Yeah. So, first of all, thank you everyone for the birthday wishes again. I really appreciate it. It's been an awesome day so far. So thank you. But yes, if you haven't already, please like this episode, share it to your friends. If you have someone who needs a little help with either like branding, SEO, maybe tag them in the comment section. And of course, feel free to leave any questions for Rand and Norm too. This is a two-way street, so they do have great conversation and everything, but this is your opportunity to ask a great question. So thank you everyone. And yeah, so Norm, there was one question from Dr. Kaz, but I think you guys kind of answered it already. Okay, assuming niche is our strategy for SEO, what is your top 3 actionable items today that we can execute on?
Let's see. If you're going niche, first off, thank you, Kelsey. If you're going niche and you're focused on SEO, I would look at. I would do a little bit of a competitive comparison analysis. I think that's the first item I would start with. So essentially say, hey, in our niche, who else are we competing against? What are they doing? How are they doing it? Why are they having more success than we are potentially? And how do we want to try and drive value from this? Is it through primarily building up our brand? Like we want to be present in all the places that our competitors in this niche are present in so that we can drive more branded search and branded traffic and brand loyalty and brand building? Is it that we want to directly rank for some of these niche keywords? And how do we do that? What are we missing? Is it content that's the problem? Are we not solving the searcher's problem more effectively than our competitors? Do we have a link building problem where they've essentially amassed more links and references and brand mentions than we have? Are they winning on something else? Maybe site fundamentals, speed and accessibility and those kinds of things, right? And so I do a little bit of that audit process. You can also hire a consultant. I don't know about you, Norm, but I'm a talented SEO. I'm a talented marketer. I can tell you right now, we at SparkToro, there's 2 of us. We have hired agencies and consultants for everything. That is because I believe those people who specialize in that field are vastly more experienced and less costly than a full-time employee.
Oh my God, you are so bang on the money.
So I wrote a blog post, which I'm happy to share with folks. It's not self-promotional or anything, called "Why I Prefer to Use Consultants and Agencies for Everything." And everything that's not sort of core to our product, I use them for, and that includes SEO and content, and we use them for our beta testing. We use folks for design and UX, all this stuff. I would highly recommend to almost anyone who's in e-commerce, who's got the margins to do it, I would hire an agency to help you with SEO, especially in those niches. If you're going to do it yourself, I would do that audit, and then I would determine my next actions from that audit to decide what else I wanted to do.
Great answer. What about mistakes? What are the typical mistakes a lot of people, well, other than not hiring experts, but, and when we say that, don't do that right off the bat. one of the key words, if you have the money to do it, if you've established a bit of your brand. I mean, if you're going to jump in with 2 feet and you do have cash flow, so you're properly capitalized and you want to grow a brand right off the bat, that's a whole different story. But a lot of people are brand new. They're testing the waters. They're going to pay their Amazon tax by making mistakes and getting to know your first, a product out there, what not to do and what to do, where to spend your money, where not to spend your money. But when you want to get to the next level, you probably do want to look at spending it either in SEO or a proper email campaign. Like we were talking the other day, our last episode was about email marketing.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of things that you can do that you might not be good at. I know I suck at a bunch of things and I know a bit about it, but I'm not going to hire myself to do it. First of all, it's going to take me forever. It's a weakness. I'm going to get stressed out. So why not let somebody else just do it?
Yeah.
But what about mistakes? Where do people make mistakes?
To be honest, I think one of the worst mistakes that a lot of folks make is building their home on rented land. And that Amazon is a prime example of this, right? Where, no pun intended, but the idea that, my Amazon storefront is where I make most of my money. I would really leverage Amazon as a place where you get first-time customers once, and then after that, you are connecting with them in as much detail as you possibly can. So, trying to nudge them toward your website, trying to nudge them toward your email list, trying to nudge them, anyone who's a customer of yours through Amazon, you want to try and build that brand back to your website. And that can be through specials and discounts, and in the search results, having your website say, you'll always find the lowest prices with us. You'll always get the best, selection with us. I've seen stores run campaigns where they essentially have a lot of their Amazon product line that is, sort of the base level product. And then for the more, I don't know what you want to call it, like fancy, advanced stuff for people who are more into their world of whatever kind that is, you have to go to their website to get it. I experienced this recently. I was looking at some bar equipment because I've been doing some like cocktail at home program. There's a great brand that makes really cool equipment called Viski, Viski. If you go to Amazon, they sell some of their stuff, like a little bit here and there. But because most of the stuff's not available or it's all through third parties, what you really want to do is go to their website. And it nudged me to go to Viski's website because the availability was spotty and sparse on Amazon. And then I was like, oh, they've got all the stuff here and it's better, and the better selection, and the prices are just as good or sometimes better. I'm going to come to Viski's website. Now Viski has my email address, and so they can send me promotional emails. And yeah, I think email is a phenomenal strategy. You should try to capture those email addresses anytime you can. So that's the first mistake I think people make, is assuming that Amazon or a Google storefront or whoever it is has your best interests at heart and is going to help you build your brand. No, Amazon's goal is, we want you to give us data about consumers so that we can compete with you and put you out of business and continue to be the monopoly in e-commerce. That is Amazon's goal. They are your absolute enemy. And you're sort of, waging this little guerrilla warfare against them, trying any tactic that you can to get people back to your site, your email list.
All right. I got to thank Dr. Kaz because I had it at the top and I buried the question, and that's link building strategies. Link building strategies for 2021. Can you give us a couple?
Yeah, I mean, the ones that I like best are twofold. I love digital PR stuff. So having a great pitch story, maybe it's a data analysis, maybe it's a bunch of research, maybe you did a big, large scale survey, you did an analysis breakdown of all the products in a space, something that is of interest to people not who are your audience, but who are their influencers, right? So journalists, papers, reporters, bloggers, writers, people who cover a space. That could be, industry specialists, whatever it is. That's the group that you are going after, not your actual customers when you are creating that type of content. And that content is designed to earn you references back. I'll give an example. I got an email last night from someone in Japan who writes for, I think it's a Nikkei publication, right? The Nikkei is the Japanese index, sort of like our Dow Jones or New York Stock Exchange. And so they write for this business publication, and they asked if they could reference an article that I'd written on SparkToro about changes that Google had made last year to their search click-through rates and some research that I had done with the company. Fantastic, right? That's exactly the kind of thing. You want to publish content that will attract the interest of those folks, because they are likely to link back to you. And once you get one or a few, that is a phenomenal way to earn those links and not have to do, I know a bunch of link builders who still send out 100 emails asking if they can guest post, or 100 emails asking if they can fix this broken link, or 100 emails asking if they can.
All the time.
Yeah, we all get them all day long. The success rate is, 0.1%. So for every 1,000 emails, legitimate emails that actually get delivered, maybe one is turning into some value for you. Rather than spend all that time gathering those 1,000 emails and blowing your email deliverability rate and getting on everyone's, they all click report spam in Gmail or Yahoo Mail or MSN or whatever it is. And so now all those mail providers know to treat your domain as a spam domain. So that's harming your deliverability long-term and your reputation. Instead, I would focus all that attention and energy on the top 5 or 10 sources. I don't think we're in a world anymore. When I got into SEO in 2003, you get 1,000 links, doesn't matter who you are, like you're going to beat the guy with 20 links. That's not true anymore. There's a lot of websites with 20, 50, 100 links that are beating out pages with 1,000 or 5,000 because Google cares much less about number and much more about quality.
Right. Yeah. Big difference. Big difference
Yeah.
from a few years ago.
Total sea change from even 10 years ago, pre sort of Panda and Penguin, those big updates that Google did for people who are, deep in the nerdy SEO world. The reality is that today Google is far more sophisticated. They look at things like searcher satisfaction rate. What percent of people who clicked on your result over time were satisfied with their search versus what percent bounced back to the search results, chose one of your competitors in the SERPs, clicked them, and were satisfied by someone else. That is really how Google's machine learning system is determining who should we keep ranking and who should we push down. Who's going to go to the top, who's going to go to the bottom. Links matter. They still have impact. They're still part of that equation, but searcher satisfaction is much, much higher. And so if you are Visky, you might be able to outrank, Amazon and Kegworks and Cocktail Kingdom and all those kinds of things if over time your brand satisfies more cocktail, home bartending equipment searches. I would play that game.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know we're winding down here. Is there anything else that you would add that our audience needs to know about right now?
Ooh, gosh.
I'm putting you on the spot, of course.
Yeah, just a little bit. I think one of the greatest things that you can do for your own marketing for your e-commerce shop is to find tactics and strategies that work for you rather than the ones that are popular and well known. And so I am very opposed to sort of the be everywhere marketing. There's a lot of advice out there. I think Gary Vaynerchuk is like one of the prime proponents of this, right? This idea that like, what are you doing? You have to be on TikTok and Snapchat and Facebook and YouTube and Reddit, and you better have your podcast. You better have your Clubhouse, you better have your Twitter. I think A, that's overwhelming. I think B, that is not pragmatic or an efficient use of your time and energy. I would pick 1 or 2 tactics and channels that fit 3 criteria. Number 1, your audience has to be there. So maybe you think Clubhouse is great and fun. Is your audience on Clubhouse? Like, are you selling to that guy? If you're not, Clubhouse, I don't know. Number 2, you have to be able to provide unique value in that space, meaning value that's differentiated from any of your competitors and anybody else who's trying to attract the same audience. You've got to have some reason why people are going to pay attention to you. And then the third thing is you've got to like it. You have to personally feel passionate and excited about it. I have never, in all my career, Norm, I have never heard this statement. I really hate Twitter, but I'm super good at it. Nope. Doesn't happen, right? What I hear is, this new, whatever it is, TikTok, like, I love doing little short videos that kind of go viral and earn me attention and then build my brand. I love that stuff. And so I'm also very good at it. Terrific. Perfect. If you're a great blogger, great writer, wonderful. Blogging, content marketing, that's probably for you. If you love doing SEO, doing link building, terrific. That's probably a great channel for you. If you're super into podcasting, great, start one. If you love in-person events and conferences and meeting people in real life, event marketing, wonderful. That's an awesome tactic. If you are great at building those relationships and creating things that influential sources love to share and publish, PR, fantastic. Go do that, right? The content PR game. There are dozens of channels, thousands of tactics. You have to find the one that you're passionate about, that works for you, that reaches your audience, and where you can provide unique value. You do that, you're set.
It's great timing. Kelsey and I were talking about that the other day, about how many channels that we're targeting and the time it takes. You don't have to go on every one. You can go on 1 or 2, and you're so right. The ones that, are fun are the ones you want to do, because why do something that sucks?
The reason we got into business for ourselves is so that we could do the things that we love and not do the things that we don't.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to have a boss because I want to be able to govern my day and do the things that I'm passionate about. And yeah, we all have to do some slog work sometimes. Fine. That's fine. But please, by all means, right, go and choose tactics and channels that resonate with you, that you are going to enjoy, especially on the marketing side. I think there's nothing better.
Now, I just noticed, well, first of all, I should just mention, anybody who's listening who hasn't heard, our sponsor, Brit's Chocolates, are going to be giving away 2 prizes today. So it's #Brit Chocolates, and you'll be entered. Is that correct, Kelsey?
Yes. I also want to say, Rand, I know you have to go at the top of the hour, so we're about 2 minutes away. So if you need to get going for the meeting.
Unfortunately, I will have to run. But I really appreciate you folks having me on. It has been an absolute pleasure. Norm, Kelsey, anything I can do for you, please just let me know. And Kelsey, very happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Rand, thank you so much. You have a good one.
You too. All right.
All right. See you later.
All right.
Bye. And everybody, before we get into the Brit Chocolates, I know that there's a couple of things happening here. But check out, like, for information about SEO, go to Moz, go to SparkToro, and just see it out. Check out Rand's blog. Just a ton of information. Talk about like give. You'll learn a lot of information there.
Yeah, I was scrolling through his blog. It's just tons of great info there.
Tons of great information there. So anyways, Kelsey, we have another big surprise today.
Are you talking about the Wheel of Kelsey?
Yeah. Is it about that time?
I think so. Okay.
Well, just one sec. This is our other great big surprise that we were working on last night.
Yes. So I should give credit to my brother Hayden. He's put this together, but we have a new little song for the Wheel of Kelsey.
Wheel of Kelsey.
You'll have to let us know what you think about it, because I'm very curious. But here we go.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
There we go.
Yes.
I thought it was pretty good.
I love it. Okay. Also, some of the people that have entered, I know a couple people won like literally the last time or a couple times ago. So I removed some people's names just so everyone has a chance.
Okay.
Like if you won the chocolate again from last week or previous times, I've just to make it fair and give everyone a chance. So if you see your name's not there, that's the reason why. But yeah, that's awesome.
Kelsey does take $20 at a time to get your name back on.
Yes, that's right.
All right, spin it.
Lunchwithnorm.com. Okay. All right. So the first one we'll do is the Quality Street chocolate. That's a tub of chocolate. It's 650 grams from our sponsor Brit Treats. So 3, 2, 1.
Melanie. Okay. Congrats.
Melanie is number 1. And 3, 2, 1. This is for the big 20-bar Easter chocolate. So 3, 2, 1.
My name on there?
Okay, Mero.
All right. Congratulations. And a big thanks to Alan Muir for providing those boxes of chocolates. That's fantastic, Alan. And again, that's Brit chocolates. So, all right. I think that is it for the end of the podcast. I think
so. Yep. And people are loving the song. Love the news.
Okay,
good. All right. So that's going to be staying.
That'll be the official Wheel of Kelsey song.
Yes. Yep. Okay. So I think that's it. So if you missed out on the episode, you can always find all the episodes on the YouTube channel, Lunch with Norm. Just search Lunch with Norm. The channel name is Norman Farrar, but that's where all of this good stuff happens. Let me see. We don't have the clubhouse today, obviously, since the time, but we'll resume next week, and I'll make a post about that. But of course, join our Beard Nation, Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA and eCommerce Collective on Facebook. And thank you guys. Thank you for all of the birthday wishes. That's amazing. Thanks everyone. You guys made my day. That was awesome.
And if anybody wants to send in a video singing Kelsey a happy birthday, we'll post that in the group as well, of course.
Of course, yes.
All right, who do we got coming in on Wednesday, Kelsey?
We have Ashley Armstrong. So she has some hidden secrets of Amazon, as well as she's going to talk about a bit more about women in e-commerce too, and her entrepreneurial journey. And it's going to be a great episode. And we also have Afalabi on Friday.
All right,
yes,
great. So that'll be fun
for a little sourcing episode too. So it's going to be a good week. Yes, and thank you everyone. Awesome.
Hey, and by the way, if you didn't check it out, I don't know if this will be easier for everybody. We were searching Amazon the other day, and we noticed our podcast there. So under Audible. So I don't know how we didn't apply. I guess it just got picked up. But if you have an audio or Audible account, search Lunch with Norm, and it'll be there as well now. So tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Eastern Standard Time at noon. And thank you, everybody, for joining. Thanks for joining the community. Remember, you can always go over to Beard Nation or whatever Kelsey's called that group of ours and, become a member. It's a great group, lots of engagement. And hey, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day.
Lunch with Norm.